Okay, I must admit my last video was a little bit wild. um, so yeah, my last video was a little bit wild. Um, Today I was running in the morning and working out a little bit, and now I was archery, you know, doing archery, and I must say the dopamine detox is really. I like it. I like the experience. I want to share it and preserve it. Like, I want to share it and preserve it. And what I can say is archery, the way I do it, is both physically and mentally very demanding and a good indicator. And my performance definitely is more consistent and overall better because all substances decrease the performance in their own way. Coffee, as well as uh, alcohol, as well as marijuana, as well as tobacco, probably, maybe tobacco not, I don't know. I never smoked tobacco pure. Well, I did, but it's a long time ago. But I know that all these substances decrease concentration levels for different reasons. And I don't mean that you consume them and then you're reduced. I mean, when you use them on a weekly or even monthly basis, they reduce your performance still. Not yours, mine. I know this. Um, when you do archery, the way I do it, you need to be physically and mentally on a top level, and you want to also your visual perception needs to be on a top level, and nothing is better than being completely sober. Also, I realize, the self. We were talking about the self, the true self, the false self. Every human being has true self and false self. I think I don't want to overanalyze it. It could lead to depersonalization, um, derealization. Sorry for the interruption. All right. Yeah. Um, yeah, I failed. By the way, I need to get, every experience is a little bit different. The workout, the running, but everything is in some way better and interesting. And I don't know how long it takes until like 100% are accustomed to this, so that, you know, I don't have the hangover or withdrawal of the coffee. Yeah, so that I fully, that the reset is complete, so to speak. I expect it to be, I don't know, I will ask ChatGPT. But I expect it to be in 2 to 3 weeks. We will see. Still some fatigue. Yeah, right. Itself. Um, I think we should not over analyze, or I don't want to overanalyze the self. I think, yeah, I said that it could feel like creating a false self to individuate, or the fact is, when we go through narcissistic psychopathic abuse, having this waking up experience and starting to super psychologize everything and go into Jungian psychology, shadow work, etc., we will never be the same again. And we don't want to. What exactly that means, I'm not sure, but it's easy to know what we don't need. And as we have learned from Professor Samvaknin, narcissistic abuse creates a false self as a defense mechanism. And I think it could be also when we have the tendency that is new. So before the narcissistic abuse, it was not there, but then we have a sense of insecurity or like a feeling in the heart area where the heart rate goes up, this fight and flight response, or fawn response, or freeze response, or some kinds of trauma responses that have not been there before, or an aggression, insecurity that creates aggression is basically narcissism. Therefore, narcissism creates narcissistic behavior in people. It's of course also part of the strategy, passive aggression, um, the creation of ambiguity in the life of the victim, 1,000 small provocations under the radar, and then the other person at some point gets aggressive and reacts, and then the narcissist has everything they wanted, attention, victim role, and they can blame the other person. Even my daughter reports me of tendencies where she's observing another person in her class who is using these strategies of falsifying her reality, her emotional reality, and being manipulative. So it's normal that these people are there. We have 2 or 5% of these kind of people in the population. Um, yeah. So in this setting, there is no way you root or ground yourself as much as when you're doing a dopamine reset, and I mean a full one. For me, I would recommend start with the things that are the easiest for you to break or the most important patterns to break. Be gentle with you, take time. But for me, excuse me, for me it went one after the other. And now I'm on this extreme way. The only thing that I still do that is a dopamine manipulation in my life is social media. And I will not stop it now, or use of mobile phone. I can't fix everything. And yeah, there's no way you're so rooted and grounded and you can understand these things in yourself. So the false self based that is insecure and aggressive or does all kinds of defensive mechanisms and actions as a reaction to the narcissistic abuse, this is probably the false self that has been created. That's not what you need, but you need the defense reactions. So let's say you have aggression based on insecurity. What you need is aggression based on security. So you feel safe, secure, and sovereign because you are. And if somebody crosses your boundaries, they will regret it immediately. So this is what we need rather than the ruminating or the fantasizing or compulsive aggression. This can rather be used against us. We need to be in full control of our nervous system, and that's a dopamine detox. Yeah, not detox. I will maybe retox myself at some point in my life. Not now. Yeah, yeah, I'm funny now. I'm funny. I'm laughing, but I think I will go through a phase now that is more serious. I don't want to be happy and funny just because people know me that way. They see there is something going on in my life. They speak to me about it. But I think I want to be a little bit serious. You know, there's no need to be funny and happy all the time. There's a lot of toxic positivity also in the world. I just be who I am. Yeah, I want to keep it easy. Small message, just experiences. I talked about the false self, whatever the true self is what feels safe, is what feels good, is what feels vulnerable. Yeah, I thought about the experience of my daughter, and this manipulative behavior of classmates. She said when this girl is around, she feels insecure and is nervous and afraid to make a mistake. So this is exactly what we have to protect, this vulnerability and this human side, because these people who are manipulative and try to expose us and use these mistakes that we make against us because they're not our friends, they envy that. They envy the vulnerability and the authenticity in people. Therefore, they attack it, and they have a false self based on perfection. So they are perfect. They never make mistakes. They don't have to apologize. And yeah, this is that what we have to protect. In fact, we have to protect the vulnerable human side that can make mistakes. And we have to insist on this and just be that. It's not a competition. um, those who are in the spotlight and present themselves as perfect, even if validated, because these people are successful, these people get validated by teachers, these manipulative behaviors get validated by teachers. Yes, yeah, they are get validated in the world, they are successful, but still they are the fake ones. They are the dead men and women walking. They are based on insecurity, and therefore they have to create insecurity in others who don't have the facade of perfection. So I don't want to have the facade of perfection. um, I even told my daughter that, and it helped her, that this is the real thing, to make mistakes and to have insecurities, and we have to protect this, and that even that other people envy that authentic human side, the investment in life, that we care, that we have, that we can have a bad conscience, we have a moral compass, we feel when we do a mistake, and we care for others. Empathy. Yeah, this is what we have to protect, even though it gets invalidated in the world. Teachers don't see it. They see the side at the end, the narrative, where they say, oh, they frame it different, right? So we can only witness it, and we're framed as the villain, as the, you know, we are framed as the problem, even though we know the truth about it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But that's not the end of the story. I think there should be social cohesion and real connection, real people who validate each other, but they are rather rare and they get less and less. So it's gonna it could soon be a utopia, because the whole world gets very narcissistic and psychopathic. It could soon be a utopia. Functional, healthy people in communities that are based on real mutual respect, that is not based on money or social status, but on real performance and contribution, and even there, solidarity and help for people who cannot contribute the same or not can perform the same, but are just morally pure and motivated in their ways, transparent and respect those who perform, and know their place in a hierarchy that does not has to be enforced in any way, because it's a natural hierarchy. The hierarchy that would arise in a tribe, in a healthy tribe. However, enough of the talking. I will make food now. prepare food, and call the day a day.